Sci Access, May 10, 2024. NASA's Neurodiversity Network. Lessons learned. Dr. Lynn Cominsky.
So, hi, everybody. I'm glad to finally be here. I'm Lynn Cominsky. I am a professor of physics and astronomy at Sonoma State University. I am an aging white woman with short brown hair and glasses. And I am in front of the logo for our NASA's Neurodiversity Network program, which looks like the big letter N with 3 different planets and a swirly infinity sign at the bottom. And I am very pleased to tell you about the progress we've made during the past 3 years. We're now in our 4th year of this 5-year NASA program, in which we have adopted the tenets of the autism self-advocacy movement to guide us in everything that we do, especially the motto, nothing for us or about us without us. We believe that autistic people should be included in the development of autism supports. Everything that we do on the N3 project is done with people on the autism spectrum. The 2 major project elements of this project are our high school summer internship program, where we concentrate on the transition between high school and college, encouraging students to study STEM and science subjects so that someday they might be able to work for NASA. And we also co-design and co-redevelop existing NASA resources to make them better able to be used in informal and formal classroom settings by autistic high school students and their teachers. When we started N3 in 2021, our initial goals were to provide a pathway to NASA participation and STEM employment for neurodiverse learners. And we focus specifically on folks on the autism spectrum. This is a segment of the population that has been significantly underserved, at least in the NASA educational world, because before N3 existed, NASA really never discussed neurodiversity at all. And I'm so proud that we're really changing the agency and allowing a lot of neurodivergent people that already work for NASA to feel empowered and basically come out of whatever closets they're in about their neurodivergence and their learning challenges or communication challenges, and focus on the strengths and amazing talents that the current NASA employees and my students and everyone in this program can bring to the world of STEM. We are working on improving science literacy by providing authentic NASA experiences, and we use NASA subject matter experts to do one-on-one mentoring for our high school summer interns. And that's a competitive program, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about our program and what we've learned in the past 3 years of working with this amazing population. So I'll start with our co-design projects. And this is work that's largely being done by my colleagues from the Education Development Center, which is based in New York City. Wendy Martin and Ariana Riccio Arista are the 2 people who've done a lot of this work. And then we've partnered with 4 different autism-serving high schools in the San Francisco Bay Area, as well as with Autistry Studios, which is a makerspace for people on the autism spectrum that's located in San Rafael in Marin County. And so we work with the teachers, and we work on the curriculum and teach it to the teachers, and then their job is to teach it to the students. And then we engage in this extensive co-design to review everything that happened in each school and get feedback from the teachers and the students, selected students, as to what we should do to make the curriculum be more friendly for this population. So in 2021, it was still COVID, and we started out by doing a co-design on remote astronomy lessons. We call this Astronomy Anywhere or Astronomy from Home. And so we had started developing some of these activities in my previous NASA project, which was NASA's Universe of Learning. But now we're really doubling down on trying to get especially some of our high school summer interns to use our robotic telescope, which is called GORT. That's a photo of it on the lower right, and our Astronomy from Home logo on the left. And GORT is a 14-inch telescope that can be accessed over the internet. And we have lessons online for how to use GORT and how to request time on GORT. But we have a couple interns every summer that use GORT. And we did a whole year-long curriculum co-design process on these astronomy and particularly photometry activities in our first year. And I have to say, we were not very close to the mark. The activities we developed were not clear enough for our students, and so we learned a lot from the co-design process. We have not been able to get these activities back online yet for people to use, but a middle school version of some of the activities was piloted by our partners at the New York Hall of Science, and those have now been redone and sent off to the AstroCamp people, which is another group within NASA's Science Activation Program. And they work with some.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lynn. It looks like we lost your audio for a moment.
Oh, I don't know why. I didn't change anything. I'm not muted. Can you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you now.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll just continue. What was the last thing you heard?
Oh, we only lost you for a second there. So if you could just repeat the very last thing that you said.
Okay. Well, now I can't remember what it was, but yeah. So these activities have not yet been put online because we were not very close to hitting the right level. And so we're reworking those. Then in 2022, we used the activities that we developed for underrepresented minority community college students called Rising Data, in which we taught the students how to solder, how to build payloads, and how to build model rockets, and then we launched them. And in 2023, because of the eclipse, the annular and then the total eclipse that just happened in April, we did a curriculum called Solar Science. Now that one, this was our third try, we got very close to the right level. And because of a lot of hard work by Brian Mendez and Darlene Yan, we now have all of the solar science activities on our website. So if you go to n3.sonoma.edu, you can find them under curriculum and solar science. So these were very successful activities. So let me just show you a little bit about the Astronomy Anywhere activities. If you go to this website, Astronomy from Home, afh.sonoma.edu, and go to this tab, which looks like a galaxy and is labeled Discover, you will find a bunch of fun activities that will teach you how to do photometry and how to use a robotic telescope, including our exoplanet finding game, learning how to build a light curve using a version of software called JS94L, which is for learners. And then in 2022, we taught people how to solder by letting them first build a JiggyBot, which is a cute little thing that you can build from a simple circuit board and a little motor that dances around on the tabletop. And then eventually building a payload and a rocket. We develop extensive videos to show how to build the payload, a video showing how to build the JiggyBot, how to cut and strip wires, how to do soldering. We have a lot more video assets for this experience. Here's just some pictures of the kids. These are middle school kids at New York Hall of Science who learned how to solder and build their own rockets using the Rising Data model. And here's some more pictures where we launched with the high school kids here in Northern California, near where I live in Petaluma. And there's some of the rockets built by the high school kids and some launches and some people looking at rockets and bringing their rockets back. So that was a lot of fun. And then this past year, we did the solar science curriculum. And these are examples of some of the mystery cards that were created that the students have to try to understand and learn about what was going on with the sun during the times when all these mysteries were occurring. Here's some more mysteries for you. And eventually try to figure out what was causing all the mysteries. And here's a picture of the sun spotter that the students build, and then they try to engineer a way of making the images come out circular, and also a way for them to see the images of the sun more easily. This sun spotter costs about $50 in parts and compares very favorably to the official sun spotter you can buy from places online like the Astronomical Society of the Pacific for $500. So we were pretty happy with how well this worked. And so as a result of all this co-designing for all these years, these are the tips that we've come up with for better supporting autistic learners. First, we now provide visual schedules to let everybody know what the order of the show is going to be and what they're going to be expected to do. Priming students for what's about to come so they understand the context and also the process that they're going to be going through to do the learning. We embed the students' interests in what we're doing. They want to know why they should be doing this to start with. So we try to tie the lessons and the overall storyline to their already existing interests. We also try to establish clear expectations. And most importantly, we provide as many supportive visuals as we can think of, as many videos as we can come up with, narrations, other reference materials for them to look at, etc. I was asked a question about what does co-design mean. So in our case, we get input from people as we're originally putting the curriculum together. We work with the teachers to make sure they understand the science, and the teachers give us input as to how best to present it to the students. And then we go through at least 8 to 10 hours of review afterwards with selected students that are on the spectrum and their teachers to get everybody's input into how to best improve the curriculum before we then put it back out online. And so far, we've only done that for the solar science curriculum. Now, as far as autistic adults looking at the curriculum, this is really intended for middle and high school students, but we have had a number of our autistic college students that work here in our group review the materials before we even try them out on the teachers in the first place. So I consider college students adults, and so hopefully that will answer your question. Okay, now continuing on, since I'm getting short on time, I do want to say a few words about the internship program. We have closed the applications for this year. We've chosen 20 interns for this next summer. I'm right in the middle of finishing up the matching with the mentors. But basically, when the students apply, and we get many more applications than we can accept, they tell us what they're really interested in the most that NASA does. And then I go out and try to find a mentor that does that thing, or as close as I can find, and that also has a project that is a good fit for the skills that the student has. And these students, a lot of them have taken AP, everything you can think of, as well as being amazing programmers. A lot of them have built and used microcontrollers and designed their own circuits. And so it really gives me a lot of freedom to choose really cool projects for everyone. We'd like about 150 hours of work over the summer. The mentors meet over Zoom with their interns. All the internships are virtual because the interns are all over the country and the mentors are all over the country. And the chance that I can find a mentor and an intern that is a good match that will be close enough together geographically to meet face-to-face doesn't happen that often. Usually 2 or 3 pairs I get lucky, and they have people actually met. but most of my interns tell me that they would really rather just work over Zoom anyway. So it seems to be working out well. Of course, we pay the interns and the mentors, and we try to cover the whole range of science fields that NASA includes. Astronomy, astrophysics, astrobiology, earth and environmental, heliophysics, planetary science, and building hardware. Now you can see the final projects that are presented at the end of the summer for at least 50 of the interns over the last 3 years if you go to our webpage that is listed below, and 3.sonoma.edu/internship/about. So in 3 years of projects, mostly people like astronomy the best. So we've had 23 astrophysics projects and less than 10 each of helioplanetary earth or hardware projects. A lot of the astronomy projects use our robotic telescope. A lot of the programming projects involve Python. So I'm now pretty much out of time. So I will close by just putting up some information about how you can connect with N3 if you want to learn more about us. We'll open again for internships for next summer of 2025 in January of 2025. If you're interested in being a mentor or speaking at a monthly meeting about your science to our intern community, just send me some email or scan this QR code for more information about how to be a mentor. Check out our astronomy from home discovery activities, and you can watch our videos. And if you have any questions, I'd be very happy to now spend the next few minutes answering questions. And I think I'll maybe stop the share so I could actually see some questions.
Thank you so much, Lynn. If you would like to share your email or any of those links in the chat as well, we would love to have those shared with our attendees.
Yes, definitely. My email would be the first place to start. So I'll put that one in first.
Yes, and also any website links you would like to share.
Yeah, just go to the main N3 website to start with, or Astronomy from Home if you want to see the discovery activities. So those would be my top 3 websites, but then you can explore those websites and find a lot more cool resources and information.
Excellent. Thank you so much. At this time, we're going to be moving into our Q&A. So if anyone would like to ask Lynn any questions, you may navigate now to the Q&A, which you can find through the Q&A button, which will be either in the panel at the bottom of your screen or at the top, depending on what device you are on. You have one question, whether is your internship open to just undergraduates or graduate students as well?
Okay, the internship is for high school students. So I'm sorry if I didn't make that clear, but the N3 program concentrates on the high school to college transition and was entirely inspired by a student that came to me when he was transitioning between high school and college. And we've basically followed Alex's path through the remote astronomy into the rocketry and payloads. And that's as far as Alex got before he transferred to Sonoma State, became a physics major, graduated, is in physics grad school now, and has an NSF graduate research fellowship. But I've modeled everything that I've done in most of what I've learned from working with autistic students like Alex and other students here at Sonoma State. And so we wanted to start where Alex started, because that was where I started learning about the whole world of neurodiversity. And so most of our interns are rising seniors. So that's the summer between their junior and senior year of high school. We have a few that are going to be college freshmen next year, but most of the 20 students are actually going to be seniors in high school next fall. So this is the summer before they're seniors in high school.
Thank you. Are there any resources that you think might be applicable if someone were to be interested in working with undergraduates who are interested in space and may also be autistic?
So I would recommend the College Autism Network as a place to look for additional resources. We have a lot of resources on our website. We have resources in the form of job opportunities and things about the workplace. And then we have resources for just how to work with students, learning more about neurodivergence and things like that. So we have lots of resources that I vetted and that have been recommended to me by experts that we've linked to on the N3 website that can be helpful to people. But for college students especially, there is the College Autism Network, which is currently being run by the wonderful people at Vanderbilt's Frist Center for Autism and Innovation. And Jessica, who spoke before me, who unfortunately I didn't get to hear because of my computer issues, she's associated with Vanderbilt as well. And so presumably she talked about that.
Yes, Jessica shared some fantastic resources. So if anyone is interested in any of those, you can reach out to her, and I will share her information again in the chat. That was our previous speaker, Jessica Stasek.
Yes, Jessica and I have met up at astronomy conferences and have had some wonderful discussions.
Excellent. We love interconnectivity between our presenters. So that is all of the questions that we have received for today. So Lynn, if there are any final thoughts you would like to share, otherwise we'll be moving on to a break.
Let's see, do I have any final thoughts? Well, apologies again for my slightly tardy appearance.
No worries at all.
The N3 program has really changed, me, my students, the people in my group. I'm pretty sure we've changed the lives of our interns and their families. And I'm so happy that sometimes the interns end up coming to Sonoma State to go to college. And so we're working now on an NSF funded program where we're trying to figure out how best to support college students as we work our way up through the pipeline. And that is led by Dr. Ariana Richo-Arista. And so we've been meeting with students on 3 different Cal State campuses to try to figure out what we can do to improve the supports for students that are college students that are on the spectrum, with a focus on, possible STEM majors. And so stay tuned. In a few more years, I hope to be able to come back and tell you what we think is the right things to do to help college students.
Sci Access. Learn more at www.sciaccess.org.